Hello, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay. However, we had some technical difficulties. Anyway, great to see such a number registered. And in the beginning, I would like to ask you to just drop on chat one thing that you would like to walk away from this webinar with. So if you have any expectations in terms of best practices for agencies in terms of Google Ads, feel free to drop it while we're still waiting for the like 1 or 2 minutes for the rest of the attendees to connect. I can quickly answer you if we will be covering these topics or not. Also, if you have any questions throughout the whole webinar, just don't hesitate to drop it on the chat. Some of them I may be able to answer right away. Some of the others I will answer in the end in the Q&A session. And also throughout the webinar, our team is here also to help you, so they will be able to drop an answer right away. All right, so we've got best practices for products with variants, not apparel, but for example, food. To some extent, we will cover that as well, because it can be done in some of the parts of this webinar. All right. So latest news, we got some quite new, quite interesting new features from Google. So I will cover that more towards the end of the webinar, but I just can give you a bit of a hint that is connected to the new section in the product ads. All right, I guess we got most of the people who signed up live right now. So we can start, and we will start with the agenda. So in short, what main sections we'll be covering today. So first of all, some of you, as we already learned from the chat, some of you don't have the e-com clients yet, or you've got a small volume of the clients. So first we will cover the growth of e-commerce. So what did happen throughout the last year because of the global situation right now. The next point will be new opportunities and challenges for agencies in terms of the product ads. So we will be covering today Google product ads mostly, but it also connects to the areas that you, Dan, just mentioned, that feed optimization, for example. It's one of the big factors in managing the product ads. So the next point will be opportunities with shopping ads, and how we can increase the results that we bring to our clients as an agency. Then we will cover the CSS program, that is a program at Google, and what are the benefits of the CSS, and what are the opportunities for agencies, because we all know that there is a lot of CSS partners out there, and how to utilize the most this whole Google program. We will cover the tools. For those who will last until almost end, we will have a special deal, special promo, and in the end we will do the Q&A. So as I said, some of the questions we will be able to answer throughout. However, I will go down to the bottom of the chat, and I will try to cover as much questions as possible in the end of the Q&A. All right, and just in the beginning, as a few words, just to introduce myself and our company. I'm Michał. I'm the COO, so also sort of MD at Sembot, and we are the company that delivers software for agencies. But we do also own an agency in Poland that is covering Polish market. Currently, it's one of the agencies that has one of the biggest ad spends at Google in the whole market. So everything that we're covering today is out of our own experience and our own expertise with Google Ads. Of course, there is my team with us on the call, so they will be able to support you in any matter. If we won't be able to answer your doubts or questions, feel free to contact us. In the end of the presentation, I will show you the email, but it's going to be dropped by one of our team members on the chat. So it's Sembot. It's support@sembot.io. .io is our old website. Current is sembot.com. So let's begin. Starting from the growth of e-commerce throughout the pandemic and throughout the current situation, we actually see the huge uplift. Last year, we saw the huge uplift of the e-commerce. We are e-commerce first agency, and also the soft is for e-commerce. So we saw huge uplift in the e-commerce business, not only with the current e-coms that grew, but also there is plenty more new e-com stores that are opening in every market. So it grew by 3%, whereas the estimations were a lot lower. So right now, it's covering almost 20% of the global retail, which is a huge volume. Therefore, there is a huge opportunity for the agents, for any agency that works for e-commerce. And my point here is to tell you that it's worth of tapping into that market, because as we could see last year, lead generation campaigns and any type of campaigns that are not e-com are sort of going sometimes sinusoidal. So there are ups and downs, and e-commerce is either steady or growing. So it's much more certain in these times for the agency to do e-commerce. And going to a couple of interesting stats. In this chart, we see a couple of verticals that grew over the last year. Obviously, medical supplies and baby products, that's something that is obvious, that it grew throughout the pandemics, all the masks and all the sanitation products. However, we also have a long tail that it's understandable that, for example, travel when lockdown, well, it will decrease, or apparel. However, looking at this graph, we shouldn't think about only the top verticals that we have here, because, for example, if we take a look at pets, which grew more or less a bit more than 50%, it's still huge growth. It's half of what it was before. So all these verticals are worth tapping in, because it's not only that it grew throughout the pandemic, but it's here to stay. For example, there is plenty of pet stores, new pet stores, but old ones. There is one big player on the market that they had to implement the queue in the online store. That I think it's the first time that I heard about it in the online store, that they put the pop-up window with the queue. You are something like sixth in the queue, you need to wait. Just because they had so many orders that they couldn't cope with the whole logistics of that. So if we see pets here, it's somewhere towards the long tail. However, it's still huge growth. On the next one, we have the graph that shows us how does that split with people who are buying or not buying online. However, if we look at the top of it, in Spain, for example, we've got 44% of the respondents that said that they shopped online more than before. So it's half of the society that started sort of shopping online. So it's a huge market opportunity. And as we can see, that's just the top of the list. Almost every country had noted the increase in online shopping. So that's right now. It's the best time to get into e-commerce, into marketing for e-commerce. Being said that, in terms of opportunities, as I said before, e-coms, there is a lot of new e-commerce, so they need to compete against each other and against all competitors. So they need to utilize more channels, and Google Ads is sort of primary one, and product ads is one of the main drivers of sales to e-coms. Considering the whole increase in the amount of e-coms, every one of them needs to put in more budget. Obviously, more budget means more sales for them. But on the other hand, most of you have the models, like business model of the agency is either you get commission on the ad spend or on the generated sales. Some of you probably have some package deals. However, most of the agencies use the sort of scaling model where the more e-com spends on the ads, the more agency gets the commission. So with increasing budgets on the ads, your revenues are going higher as well. So as I said before, the lead campaigns or in general services campaigns are sort of fluctuating. They're more sinusoidal than the e-coms that are more stable. And e-commerce are used to paying for the services, because campaign for leads and for services is they are sort of campaigns that a lot of companies can afford to run themselves. But for e-commerce, it's a bit more complicated, a bit more time consuming. So most of the e-commerce are used to using an agency. So it's relatively easier to win an e-commerce for an agency than to win the service company, because e-coms have experienced that, so you don't have to educate the client. Yeah, and obviously, right now the challenge is the performance. Today we will be covering 3 areas. So Google Shopping Ads, in other words, product ads. I will use that interchangeably. And we will cover CSS program and the tools and the reasons why we need to support the product feed management, and how to scale up the campaign creation, and how to manage the campaigns, how to set up the campaigns. For most of you, this will be sort of obvious. How does the shopping ad or product ad look like? So first of all, we got picture, we got price, brand or merchant, and we've got buy field in Europe, obviously, because CSS it's dependent on the CSS program, and CSS program is in Europe, in particularly in EEA. So you will have buy field in Europe on every ad. And also there may be some additional informations added, so reviews, or shipping information, or promos. So I'm expecting there will be some questions about how to add promos. I can answer them in the end. They're just 2 factors that are impacting that. One of them is that the price has to be for 30 days on that particular product, and in the feed there has to be information about the promo price. But I can cover that in depth in the end if someone wants. And just a quick overview of the shopping of the product ads. So in this instance, we've got fashion. However, we probably all know, or if you don't, fashion. The best channel for fashion would be Instagram and Facebook. Google is not converting that well on apparel. However, it's worth still keeping that channel live. So as I said, we got picture, we got product name, so title, price, merchant, and we got different fields as well. We got reviews. We should have we got return 100-day returns, but on other search probably we would see also the shipping price. And we've got buy field, which is from the agency point of view quite important, because this field lets you generate additional traffic to your website, and in other words, it lets you expose your brand, and also it lets you drive free traffic to your merchants, to your clients, and also acquire new e-coms, new merchants for yourself, for your agency. But I will cover that more towards the end of the presentation. Let's focus right now on opportunities of shopping ads, of product ads. So first of all, the product ads have higher intent buyers, so higher purchasing intent buyers. So people who are clicking on the shopping ads are more probable that they will buy the product. So it's a highly effective channel for merchants. Another thing is that they are above the text ads. So they are first thing that in many instances, of course, they are sometimes on the right hand side of the search ads. However, they're on top, so they're exposed. So sometimes they are more clickable than the shopping ads, than the text ads themselves. Also, they are sort of easy to manage if we have a couple of boxes ticked. So, for example, high quality feeds, which we will talk in a moment about. And the more our merchant appears in the search results, the more trust it gains. So it's worth running shopping campaigns and also running text campaigns, because when the user sees a shopping ad from one merchant and then he sees ads from the same merchant in the text, it gives them a bit more confidence that it's a legitimate business, and they can bring them whatever product they are intending to buy. And in general, it's connected to the first point. The shopping ads, the product ads, have higher conversion than other types of the ads. So first three challenges of the agency that is running product ads for e-commerce are product feed optimization. That's a big pain point sometimes. Targeting and bidding strategy. So how to correctly target the products. And that's depending on what's in the feed also. So in that case, the point number 2 says about title and description of the product. And the third point would be campaign structure, which can be either lazy. It can be lazy, or it can be a bit more advanced. Lazy is the simplest one, and the more advanced is also simple. However, sometimes it's time-consuming to set up. All right. So the main challenges for the agencies is that most of the feeds, as you probably know, if you worked with e-commerce, you will probably know that there is a lot of e-coms that have really poor quality feeds. And so there are missing fields, there is no brand, there is no shipping info, and there is multiple fields missing, multiple data missing. And considering the fact that Google algorithms are targeting and displaying ads by the relevancy, missing info automatically lowers your quality score of the ad, and then obviously a ad may not be displayed, or ad may be, the CPC may be more expensive. Manual setup of the product and text campaigns, that's the challenge, because some agencies tend to use, for example, smart campaigns, because they are sort of quick to set up. However, they've got there are obviously there are pros and cons of that. However, manual setup lets us to do a bit more and bring better results for the e-commerce, depending on obviously what their goals are. It's difficult to create granularity because, for example, in terms of granularity, we're meaning, for example, SPAGs, so single product ad groups, which is a construction that lets you have regain the control over your ads that Google is taking from you, because they put a lot of emphasis on the automation. Also, the problem that we have encountered, and also many agencies that work with us, because we work with over 100 agencies right now in Europe that are our clients. So many agencies told us that scaling the campaigns may be quite hard if we are using smart campaigns, for example, versus using the sort of more granular structure. Yeah, and as I said just one slide before, Google algorithm is checking the relevancy mostly based on titles and descriptions of the products. So it's quite hard to do the A/B testing, because they're descriptions and titles of the products that are on e-commerce platforms. So you would have to convince the merchant, for example, to change the title of the product that is live, and that there are users that are not only from Google, but they can be from organic, they can be from retargeting or any other channel or affiliate. So that's one of the challenges to do the A/B testings just for Google Ads, to see what's performing best. And in terms of repetitive tasks, well, it is. Let's be honest. Sometimes setting up the campaign of whatever 10,000 items in the inventory may be a bit repetitive. So you may want to, for example, hire an intern to do that for you, and after hiring and onboarding him, you will get like after a month you will get everything done. But that's not the goal. All right, so let's dive deep into the product feed, because that's the first thing that we need to think about. Because if we have higher quality score, so ad relevancy, we reduce the cost of advertising, and we have higher relevancy, so there is a higher probability of user buying the product. So the feed is like the first and foremost thing to think about when we're setting up the Google campaign. And for instance, let's take a look at the example that we have of the optimization. Let's take a look at the title. So, for example, in this instance, we've got golf polo, red H&M. That's the name of the product, for example, versus optimized title, which gives us brand, title, color, size, and the custom field in this instance is the type of that shirt. So that lets us exactly target the right search query that user puts into Google. So optimizing that by hand, like manually, could be possible if you did that for example 10 products, and you could do that manually on Excel file or whatever. But doing that for the inventory of 20,000 products, 10,000 products, or even 5,000 products could be really painful. Yes, Jakub, this webinar will be uploaded. You will get the link. After the webinar, you will get the link that you can rewatch. All right, so with the possibilities of feed optimization, we got a couple of areas that we can optimize. So first of all, image. Obviously, Google is sort of look and buy type of Google product ads and type of ads. So if the photos and the images are good, they're going to be attracted. Then also another thing is that A/B testing the images can bring out great results. And the same thing with title and description. I can give you an example that we did. We're actually preparing a case study on that right now. We had a wellness, or how do you call it? It's a health and beauty campaign of the merchant. And we had a shampoo product. And what we did was we created a duplicate to do the A/B testing and to check out the what performs better. So we had two products, sort of two lines of the same product, and what the only thing that we did in terms of title optimization was that we changed the size of the bottle from the end of the title. We moved it to front of the title. And just this action resulted in 3 times higher CTR and 3 times more traffic and more sales, obviously, than the old one. So we compared it in the same period of time. So that means that just a small change can improve the quality of the ad really high. So. And it was like 1.5 liter bottle or 150 milliliter. Never mind. Anyway, it turned out that people were searching for exactly that bottle, so they started clicking. Versus the competitors that they had the same product, but they didn't have the size in the title, or they had it in the end of the product name. So that's how you can optimize the campaigns. Another possibility to optimize is using negative keywords. I will a bit deep dive on that later on. However, there are two types of negative keywords. They're on the campaign level or ad group level. And the campaign, I will cover that later. Anyway, this is the only possibility to optimize on the base of keywords the product ads. So you can't define the keywords that you want to display on, right? So the negative keywords are the important part that you want to focus on. Another thing is custom labels, because with custom labels you can make your life a lot more easier, because you can set the for example margin tiers, so you can create campaigns for high margin products and then push them through a bit more, bid higher on them. You can run experiments. You can use custom labels to do almost everything on your backend side on setting up the campaigns. And there is so many creative ways to use that well, I wouldn't have enough time to go through all of them. However, for example, as I said, margin tiers, or for example, segments of the products that are whatever bestsellers, and then thanks to that you can quickly and easily generate or create the campaigns with the thing that you can have in your mind, which is agency profitability, because we've been there. We had that too, that sometimes you have to spend too much time on a merchant that is profitable for the agency. So sometimes you pay more for the time of your specialists than you get from the merchant as a commission. So in that sense, being an MD or manager at the agency, you need in the back of your head, you always feel like, I need to utilize the time the best. So the optimization of the workflow internally in the agency is pretty important from the profitability point of view. All right, so in terms of the product feed optimization possibilities, you've got three. First of them is you can do it on the merchant's ecom platform, but most agencies don't get the access to whatever Shopify or any like WooCommerce or any platform. So it's quite hard to get that. And also remember that you're doing tests on a live organism. So if something breaks down, well, yeah, you know the results. You can do that with Excel file on small feeds, on small inventories. It's quite easy. However, with the Excel file, it's quite hard to prepare it in order to be updated, because if you prepare an Excel sheet and upload it to Merchant Center and then use it as a base for your ads, if merchant adds new products or remove them from their inventory, or they run out of stock, you don't have it updated. So might be quite hard for high turnover products or high turnover merchants in general. Or you can use automation tool. That is a sort of middleware that you get input feed that is coming directly from the ecom platform. Then you get middleware where you do all the optimization, and from that middleware you take out the output feed and you put that into Merchant Center, and it's updated automatically in the back. So if merchant removes some product from their feed, it's removed from ads and from Merchant Center as well. Yes. Okay, Peter, you have a great question. We've been going through that for a while. So, how many customers are managed by one SEM specialist or SEM manager? It depends. I would love to cover that because that's a broad topic. It comes from it mostly comes down to management of the and structure of the agency. Because you can have different structures. You can have SEM specialists that are contacting the clients, then you will have a smaller amount of e-coms, or you can have account managers and SEM managers. So there are multiple ways to sort that out. We've been doing that for last 1.5 years in the agency. We've been optimizing that, and we built sort of two-way approach. But I can cover that in the Q&A session, because I mean, from my perspective, from a manager of the agency, it's super interesting topic, and it's I love to think and talk about it. But I will focus now on the presentation and going down through the Google and through the Google product ads, and then in the end we can cover also matters of from management perspective. All right. Okay, so getting back to the topic of optimization, because as I said, we can use automation tool, and for that I will show you later on what tools can do. So we got a couple of campaign structures. So the main questions from agencies that are just tapping into e-commerce are the ones how to build the structure to get the most, but it depends on what's the most, obviously. So is it traffic? Is it sales? Mostly it's always sales. Is it return on ad spend? And there are multiple factors that we need to take into account by when creating the campaign structure, the account structure. From our experience, the best way to do that is just to draw it on a whiteboard or draw it on a piece of paper. Just draw the structure yourself and then apply that into Google. And just to give you some of the best practices that we actually found out ourselves, or with our agencies that are our clients. Let me just go through a couple of ideas just to drop for you to think about. First of all, single product ad groups. So as you know, or if you don't, you can have you have 3 levels, right? You've got campaign level, you've got ad group level, and you've got product level. So on the product level, there are usually products that are combined into ad group, and then there few ad groups are in one campaign. So on the product level, you can't bid. So that's the pain, that Google doesn't allow you to bid on the products. If you put a couple of products in one ad group, they can have only one bid. So it's a bit frustrating not to have control over that, because some of the products in that ad group may perform really well and you want to push them through, and some of them may be poor, so you want to adjust the bids on that. So with that, this SPAC campaign structure, account structure, comes to help. So single product ad group means that one product is in one ad group. So you've got the number of ad groups equals the number of products that you have in particular campaign. They give you, you regain control with that. I encourage you to test that out, to check it on some campaigns, even today, on some small campaign. Just check it out and see what control you can get. With that, there is also a challenge connected to that, because having a single product ad group structure requires you to create every single product ad group, right? So it's on big inventory, the task is almost impossible, unless you have this intern that you hired on board, as we spoke earlier, and you just give him this task and tell him, all right, get back to me in a month when you set this up. I wouldn't, Marco, thanks for your question. I wouldn't recommend SPAGs with, you mean the smart campaigns, right? If we're setting up the smart campaigns, it's almost impossible. It's impossible to do that. So I wouldn't. The SPAG needs to be prioritized, Diana. It's good to prioritize. It's good to play with priorities, and that's in just 2 or 3 slides. But let me just cover the first thing with text campaigns. So we've got SCAGs, which is analogically it's more or less the same as SPAGs, but the single keyword is in a single ad group, which obviously creates super granular structure, because we get plenty of ad groups, because we can have multiple keywords. But we can have related ad to every keyword. So let's take a look at the SCAG structure. So if we have one ad group that has one keyword, we can have ads related exactly to that keyword. So the relevancy that we spoke earlier in the beginning of the presentation, right? So we can have these 3 ads relevant to that keywords, and then in ad group 2 we get another keyword that has other ads that are relevant to it. If we do the lazy structure, we will have the same ads for multiple keywords, which actually decreases the possibility to get the sale, to get the client to or user to click through. All right, so now something a bit more advanced. We call it funnel ad structure, or we call it level ad structure. There are probably some more names for that. So Diana, that's something that we're back at the product ads, right? That's something that is related to your question. Funnel ad structure means that we have 3 levels, 3 depth levels of the ads. So level 1 are generic keywords, generic queries, which have high priority and low bid. So we're paying, it's a cheap traffic. There is low purchasing intent on that level, so we don't want to overpay for that. On the level 2, we got a bit more precise keywords, a bit more precise queries with mid priority, mid bid, and we do that obviously by excluding the generic keywords on that level. And on the level 3, we exclude level 2 and level 1 keywords. but we got really super precise precise phrases, and they got highest bid because you've got the highest possibility of buying the product by the customer, because he's looking for a particular product. He's looking for that exact product that you have on sale. So let me just show you an example. So for example, we've got level 1, we got Samsung Smart TV. Generic keyword, Samsung has plenty of TVs. They can be from whatever 14 inches to even 100 or something like this. So generic keyword, low bid. We don't know what product this user is interested in. Then on level 2, we got a bit more precise. So we know that he wants 55-inch TV, and we know that he wants it black or silver or whatever the color is. And on level 3, with the highest bid, we got exact model of the TV, because this user has highest probability of purchasing. If that's clear for you guys, I recommend testing this out, because this is a really nice funnel structure that lets you bring out the best, and it's for us it's a lifesaver in terms of return on ad spend on some campaigns. All right, so key takeaway tips and tricks when starting working with e-commerce. First of all, relevant landing page. So it's worth working with our merchant to optimize the landing pages to perform best. Finding best and worst performing products. So that point is about optimizing the products themselves, because sometimes what merchant says or what merchant wants, it's not necessarily what he needs. Because if we will find the worst performing products, we want to exclude them, or just either remove them, or just keep them really, really low, because the best performing products are the ones that we want to sell, because we will scale it. If there is interest, it means that this product has a good price, this product has a good shipping, and all the boxes are ticked. So we want to scale this product, and we want to optimize that, not the worst ones. Maybe sometimes there are unique situations, like, for example, merchant that has half of the warehouse of the products that are worst performing. So we need to just tell him that, these products are not performing. So let's think about some promos, and think about any other type of selling that product, because it's not gonna, if it's not performing, there is low chance that it will. Another thing is excluding unprofitable products. Okay, as I covered that. Optimize negative keywords and subdivide them. As I said, there are two types of negative keywords, one on the campaign level and the other one on the ad group level. So if we're using SPAGs, for example, so on the ad group we can exclude keywords that are not relevant to that product. And on the campaign, obviously, these negative keywords will be excluded across all the products in that campaign. Yeah, I covered the merchant promotions with your ads. Maybe not fully. So as I said, there are two factors that are impacting the promo displayed in product ads. One thing is 30 days, but these 30 days don't have to be in line. So they can be whatever over the course of last 2 months. There can be 30 days. So this product is going to be eligible for displaying the promo on the Google Ads. So this has to have 30 days of the same price in the feed. Yeah, and the other factor is the promo price as a parameter in the feed. Google seller ratings, it's pretty obvious. Ratings, reviews, they give the users trust. So another thing that we do in our agency is that we divide products into two groups: good traffic drivers and good revenue drivers. And it's quite important to think about that, because revenue generators will generate revenue for merchant, but on the other hand, there may be some products that are interesting to users, that are driving traffic, and merchant can upsell them or cross-sell on once user is on their website. Our merchant can collect their email and start retargeting them, or they can give them a promo on the pop-up, on the exit. And there is plenty of possibilities to do that on the e-commerce side, but we need to drive them to that e-commerce. We need to drive the traffic. So if we split products like this, we have good overview which products are profitable and which are profitable in a sort of long run, or they're feeding other channels. So another thing is separating campaigns for mobile and desktop. That's what we always do, because we can see what are the conversions, and we can see it globally, and we can control the costs. Because, for example, for some merchants, it will be that some products are converting on the mobile and some are on desktop, or some are clicked on the mobile and bought on desktop. So we can control the costs of every stage of purchasing. Duplicate the best sellers to get more traffic. That's one of the things that we do in our tool. So the point is that with duplicates, you can name them differently. You can give them different titles, but they're the same products. So you can drive more traffic from different search queries. Running A/B tests is obvious. So with agency, always be testing. In our case, in our agency, we always have in 1 month, every PPC person that runs a campaign has to do one test. Even if it's something small, they have to do every month one test on a merchant, because when they discover something, they share with everyone, and we all educate each other. And also, it's from merchant perspective, it's quite important that we go to them with the initiative. We're proactive, and we're telling, hey, we're doing experiment. We did experiment. These are the results. So they know that we're thinking about their business, because that's our job. Yeah, and try different structures. Try the funnel structure. Try the structure of SPAGs or SCAGs on the text ads. All right. So closing down the topic of the campaign structure. Let's move to another topic that we have, which is a CSS. I'm not sure if all of you know about the smart the CSS. Sorry, I was reading with one eye. I was reading your question, Sandra. In the end, on the Q&A, I'm happy to talk about the smart campaigns. In most cases, in our instance, in our agency, and a lot of our agencies as a clients, we use 90% of granular structures, and we don't use smarts. We use them on certain merchants or on certain campaigns, but I'm happy to discuss that in the Q&A. Let's go back to CSS. CSS is a product comparator. As you know, probably there is plenty of product comparators or aggregators in Europe. So if we say Idealo, for example, they are across the whole Europe. There is Calcu, and there are plenty of comparators in every market. In Poland, in Poland, we've got Ceneo, which is one of the biggest comparators actually in Europe in terms of the market share. So they are comparators. So in 2017, Google lost the court case, antitrust court case, in European Commission, and they were forced to implement something called CSS program, which gave the access to comparators to product ads. And with that, Google gave some benefits that are unavailable for regular merchants. They gave some benefits to the CSSs, so to comparators. And like the main benefit that everyone is talking about is the margin removal. So 20% Google margin, it's confirmed. The Google product ads director confirmed that it's 20% margin. So 20% margin removal is a thing. If you're going through the CSS, if you're running your ads campaign, your product ads campaign with the CSS, you don't pay additional 20% margin. And it looks like this. So if you're, oh, by the way, Kelku, Idealo, Sembot CSS, any brand CSS that we have, or any agency CSS that we have, is exactly the same as Google Shopping. Google Shopping is a CSS. Google Ads or product ads are something different, and product ads are served by Google Shopping. So they're separate companies. Google Shopping is the same as every CSS that is on the market. So if we're running through Google Shopping, we're, let's say, bidding €1, and we've got Google's margin 20%. So we're actually bidding 80 cents on that click. If we're going through a CSS, or if we are a CSS, if we own a CSS, we can offer that to merchant that the bid value will be €1. They're bidding €1, bid value €1. So we're winning more auctions. We're winning more bids. Or we can have different types of models depending on the optimizer or strategy that we're using on the campaign. But in general, it's a thing, and it's a fact. This is supposed to be a GIF file, but it's not. So I will try to explain what it means. So there is a by field, and that's something that is interesting to agencies, because by field is the name of the CSS. So we can come up with the name of the CSS, whatever we want. In our instance here, you can find a by Sembot badge, and that by field leads to the CSS, so to the comparator. It leads to either a search query that user put into Google, or to homepage. It's at Google's discretion, but for the moment, what we know is that if there is no products in the CSS that are there, if there is no more than one product in the CSS that fulfills the search query, then it leads to the homepage. Yeah, so with that, in our case, we display by Sembot, but agencies that are our clients are displaying by their own name. So let's imagine that you're displaying 1 million ads per month. You as an agency, you display 1 million times your name to users. You expose your name, your agency name 1 million times. That's a huge branding impact. And considering the fact that e-commerce owners or marketers are frequently doing some research, and they're shoppers as well, when they see, when they are more familiar, they gain trust. But that's not all, because the buy field, the buy badge, is clickable, and this click is free. So no one pays for that click, neither is you nor merchant. This click is free, and it leads to your comparator, or to agency comparator, because I suppose most of you don't have your own CSS, but you're using some external partner. So in that instance, you're driving traffic to external partners' inventory. So it's not your clients. It's just maybe a couple of products from your client that is displaying, but the rest is from this external CSS. If you own a CSS, that's only your clients that user from the free traffic are landing on, and then you're sending that traffic out to your merchants. And for example, in our instance in Poland, we don't we prefer to focus on agencies, on delivering quality service to agencies, but we do also have over 200 direct merchants across Europe, but mostly Poland. But in our CSS, we got about 30 to 40 merchants that are advertising on Google, and we're driving for the last month. It was about 24,000 free users sent to the merchants that work with us. So we get sales for merchants for free, so they don't pay for anything. that's quite a important thing. And the CSS can look like every comparator or aggregator. This is the old design that we had of our Sembot CSS. This is the new design that we have, but it's sort of generic right now. And the CSSs that we launch, because what we do is we launch CSS with the agency name, agency brand on agency domain. So the agency can actually adapt their CSS as they wish. So that's the new design. It's still under construction, but just to give you an overview, that the user can actually compare the prices and products, and then click through to your client, to your merchant. All right. So I promised you that there is something new from Google. There is. This is a new feature that was implemented last month, and it's called comparison listing ads. So when you take a look at the product ads, you've got separate tab, comparison sites, and that tab is giving you the possibility, you as an agency or you as a CSS, giving you the possibility to advertise there. Considering the fact that right now only big advertisers, big comparators that are actual comparators, not necessarily agencies, are advertising them, it's quite high probability that some of the inventory won't be advertised by them, so you will be the only advertiser in that field. There is no competition over there right now because it's really early. So if you're a CSS, you've got the access to a separate tab that can drive more traffic, more users to your merchant. So for example, if you got a merchant that wants to try something new, he can give you a budget. All right, let's spend that budget on shoes, for example, and you got one shoe merchant that you've got on your CSS. You will drive all the traffic from that ads to one inventory of one merchant. That is opportunity that I encourage everyone to grasp while it lasts, because we're growing into Europe, so more and more agencies will use that. Yeah, and what are the benefits of the CSS, of white label CSS itself in that sense? So first of all, obviously 20% savings, or 20% higher reach, 20% more won auctions. That it's actually happening in the backend, so you don't have to do anything with that. It's just automatically added. And another thing from your agency perspective is that you increase your brand exposure. So you show the agencies, so your agency name everywhere where your clients are advertising, and you get free traffic from the field buy, and you can monetize that. You can charge, for example, the average is from 25 to 40 euro or pounds per month per e-commerce that agencies are charging for the access to the CSS, so access to the discount, not discount, but margin removal. So that's an average. So if, for example, you've got 10 merchants, you can get easily additional 500, or 20 merchants, you can get easily 1,000 quid just for connecting them to your own CSS. And in the white label CSS, there are unlimited e-commerce that you can plug into that. So you can even grow it into a full business and connect 2,000 merchants to it and get the monthly recurring revenue out of that. And also, on top of that, I just wanted to add about the revenue streams, that there are a couple of models, but our sales can explain you everything about that. And with the white label CSS from our side, you also get the product ads suite, and it's included. So it's product feed optimizer. I will talk about it in a second. And automated campaigns generator. So you can generate with a couple of clicks, you can generate SPAGs, and you can generate text ads dynamically generated from the feed. And a couple more new features that are coming along our way. and you get dedicated technical support from our team. So we set up everything, and on top of that, we're expanding to Europe, also to e-commerce business with our software. So we will have soon. Right now, we don't advertise our website so much, but the goal is that we will have a lot of e-commerce traffic driving to our website. So we got a section on our website, find and hire agency. So once you are our client, if you want, we can put you in there as recommended agency, where you can add your description, services, markets that you're in, and link to your website, obviously, and it's free of charge. And the starting process, the whole setup process, is about 2 weeks more or less, up to 3 weeks, depending on the Google, how fast they are with approving the CSS. So you set up the domain, because it's on your domain with your brand style. So you set up the domain, we set up the CSS and style as you prefer. If you don't have 50 e-coms, which is required by Google to become a CSS, if you don't have 50 e-coms, then we backfill the rest. So if you have 2, we can backfill 48. And they're sort of generic shops that are not for selling. They're just placeholders in order to, let's say, get the approval. But I mean, they are internet stores. they are e-coms, but they are owned by us, so we can actually manage the inventory. So we can display on your CSS only the products that are not relevant to any of your clients. Therefore, most users won't even notice them. Yeah, but we backfill that, so we got that covered. And the step 3, we apply to Google for you. And once it's approved, you just need to quickly transfer or migrate the clients under your CSS. But it's easy; it's done by simple form. And then, and also we have guides for that, so you get that. You get that while doing the setup. And why now? Because as I explained in the beginning, right now it's good time for e-commerce, and we're expanding. We are one of the 3 companies that launch white label CSSs in Europe, and we are the best deal. We are the best bang for a buck deal. So. First mover in most of markets, we still have a lot of missing penetration. So the first one will win the most, because if everyone has the white label CSS at some point on the market, everyone will bid on the same level, right? On the level of minus 20% of margin, and also every agency will have the buy field in their name. So you get full technical support. The sooner the better, and you can beat the competitors. All right. So as I said, as I promised, a few words about the tools. So Feed Optimizer is a tool that lets you change the titles, descriptions, and all the parameters that are in the feed that we spoke about today. And it lets you automate it with rules. So it works in the background. It updates automatically, so you don't have to remember to add the new product that the merchant just put into his inventory. So it's a middleware, as I mentioned. Input feed from the e-commerce, it processes. Output feed to Google Merchant or any other channel, because it could be Facebook, it could be retargeting, or it could be affiliate. Doesn't matter, because output feed is there. Yeah, as I said, automatic rules help a lot, and on the big inventory, it's a lifesaver. And the campaign generator, so you can generate SPAGs, and you can play with, if you, for example, use the custom fields in the optimizer, as we mentioned before, you can automate the level structure to some extent. And also you can generate SPAGs, or you can generate dynamic text campaigns generated from the feed. So it's like just a few clicks. You can, if your intern doesn't have anything to do, you can just teach him how to use the tool, and he will do that much faster than he would do SPAGs with manual setup. Yeah, so as I promised, for the ones that have lasted till the very end, we got special deal for offer, special offer and 7-day deal. If you sign up with us with the next 7 days, you get 20% off of the setup fee in the beginning. It's one-time setup fee for the CSS, for the setting up of the aggregator, and you get 50% off of the first month of the subscription, which is second month from launch usually, because we usually don't charge most of our clients for the first month, because it takes a bit until the Google approves it takes like 2 weeks until Google approves the CSS. So you can find our regular prices on our website, and out of that you take out just 20% and 50% of the subscription fee, and that's your price. All right, and just to summarize, you can schedule a demo call. I know that I didn't show you the tools, so you can schedule the demo call with sales, or just drop us an email to support@sembot.io, and we're happy to show you the tool, show you how to optimize that and how to work with that. Yeah, and summarizing, e-commerce has huge growth potential, so there is big opportunity even for the agencies that never did the product ads yet, or you're doing it for one e-commerce and you're just testing the waters. I advise you and I encourage you, and I recommend you to go into the e-commerce, because it's stable. We, as our agency, grew by 300% from last year. And right now we're growing on the level of 30% month to month. So it's a huge potential right now. And with the shopping ads and the CSS, the combination is, and the tools, obviously, the combination is something that you can sort of automate at least some parts that are pretty manual in terms of setting up the ads. And you can scale the workflow. So getting back on the question, because we're starting the Q&A, in terms of workflow, I guess Peter was asking that. In terms of the our workflow, in our instance, we got account managers that are responsible for planning and the coordination with the client, between the client and the SEM guys. So they're focused on the communication only. They're a bridge between SEM guys and or SEA guys and the client. So they're responsible for planning, for reporting, and the contact with the client. So PPC guys can cover more campaigns. Another thing is, it depends on how big the campaign is, because right now we got 2 offices. In one office, the team is focusing on big players, on big e-coms, and in the other office there are junior SEM guys, and they are focusing on the long tail, because we don't close our doors to small players as well. So right now it depends. As I said, if we're talking about small players, we can do up to even 30 campaigns per SEM guy, and if there is account manager. If they're sort of big, like 2 or 3 sometimes are the most that we can put on one PPC guy. If they're average, the average could be 11, 12. If they're not super big, and we got automated parts. If that answers your question. All right, so let me just scroll down to any questions that you asked. Yeah, webinar will be uploaded, as I mentioned. Marco said that you used the search terms report to optimize the titles. That's awesome way to do that. I'm not sure if Marco is still with us, but using search terms report is actually something that we do to name the products. That's another tip that I can give you. We're doing a duplicate in the Sembot tool. We're duplicating the product and giving it a title exactly like the search phrase was. So that gives us perfect relevance of the ad, so perfect quality score, and that gives us super nice performance on the ads, on the campaigns. All right. I guess we went through the priorities and the spikes. Okay, so smart shopping campaigns. That's okay. Speaking of smart shopping campaigns, I understand that this keyword optimization should be done on the website itself, not in Google Ads. Smarts, I've got problem with them, but that's my personal thing. I got problem that it's a walled garden, or other say that it's a black box, because we don't know the sources. We don't know where that traffic, that sales are coming from. So it could be part of it could be retargeting, for example, or other channels, and we don't know that. And when we don't know the channels, we don't know how to optimize. Another thing with smarts is if we don't know the share of PLAs in that. So using the CSS, that's another tip for you if you want to validate the CSS effectiveness, or how does that perform. Just use some manual type of campaigns, because you don't know what is the share of PLAs in the smart campaign. So if you have the share of 60%, you won't have 20% savings or 20% margin leverage, right? On the whole campaign. So with smarts, I'm not super convinced, because one thing, they are black box. Another thing is that smarts are working towards most sales, let's say. But so if you get good performing product, and you get one product that has the potential, smarts will drive most traffic to this good performing product. Unfortunately, so you get to pull this out from that campaign and create separate ones, for example. So I'm not super big fan of that. But on some of the campaigns, on some of the accounts, some of the e-coms, smarts are lifesavers. So I'm not saying no, but we need to be smart to use smarts. Yeah, they are very limited. Exactly. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? Because I guess Błażej was answering the Sandra's question. Own name in the buy field is often more important for brands and agencies than margin removal. Yeah, that's true, Tomasz. That's something that is that we consider the biggest asset, that we're displaying exposing our name everywhere. And for you guys that have, for example, big brands like whatever, Adidas, or brand of like well-known brand of store like M&S, or doesn't have to be a brand, but big store, well-known. We got also a product called CSS for Brands. So that's something that also lets you or lets merchant expose their name, because when we were at the product ad, when we were describing it, there is a merchant name above the buy field. So if we imagine that we got Adidas, so we got merchant name Adidas, buy Adidas, and buy field is free. So if there is even 10% of the traffic, then it's 10% of the free traffic, and user lands on the full inventory of Adidas. About the display remarketing part of smart shopping campaigns, you can check placement groups in the reports to figure out how much traffic goes to display. Just a little loophole. All right, thanks, Tim. That's a good one. We will definitely test that out and check it out, because we get the question frequently that if there are smarts, merchants don't see that much of an uplift when using the CSS, because yeah, we don't know what was the source. All right, we will check it out. Cool. Do you guys have? If you have any other questions, I will just type in here. Or if you ever spoke to any of our guys, you got their contact, you can just email us here. On that email, we will be happy to help you we will be happy to discuss, set up a demo, or discuss different setups of the campaigns. If you want, we can also bring some experts, PPC guys. So feel free to reach out to us, and we're here to help and to unleash the whole potential of agencies working with e-commerce. And if you have any feedbacks about this webinar, just you can drop us an email as well. Emails from support are landing in my inbox as well. So I will be reading all of them. So if you have any feedbacks, because this was the first of many webinars that we will run on for agencies, for e-coms, for merchants, that are giving some tips how to run the ads. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm happy that so many people have been here, and have a great day, have a great week, and let's keep in touch. Bye bye.